the weekly breakdown, baby.
Or as you're looking at mostly what we have listed here, it's the E3 breakdown.
Yeah, pretty much. It's that time of the year. One of our favorite times of the year. E3 is right around the corner, so we're going to go through all the conferences later and talk about what we hope happens, the things that we know we're going to see. Kind of predictions, but this year is kind of a weirder year for E3. E3 has been changing a lot over the past few years.
Yeah,
and how publishers view it has changed a lot. So we're not going to do like straight up like we have 3 predictions for each.
Like we have done, because it's like, I don't know, it's almost not worth it this year because I mean, Sony's not there and EA's not really even doing a conference, so it's like,
yeah,
it just feels weird to do it.
Yeah, definitely. But before we get to that, there's a few things we'd like to talk about. What you've been watching?
What have I been watching?
Recently?
I mean, I haven't actually, outside of Game of Thrones, I haven't been watching too much on TV lately. I've been meaning to start Chernobyl, but I'm waiting for me and Maggie to both be available to do that. But then also, me and Maggie have a lot of stuff that we need to watch. Like, we need to watch the first 2 John Wicks, and she's never seen Pulp Fiction. So
I haven't either.
So we need to watch Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna start Chernobyl here soon. A bunch of other things on HBO. Well, I have the HBO now, so.
Chernobyl's my favorite thing I've watched this year. It's incredibly haunting and gripping the whole time. I mean, one thing I think is making the show a little bit better to me is I've known about Chernobyl, of what happened in like a general sense, but never really dove into it, and so I think that's making the show a little bit better to me. Of like, wow, I cannot believe that Soviets just kept lying about all this stuff and this and that and that. And that. It's just, yeah. It's interesting. It's a good look at a very interesting time, a very different time in a very different place.
Yeah.
Because it happened in 86, I think, which is towards the end of the fall of the Soviet Union, the Cold War, all that stuff. So, it's interesting look on that side, I guess.
Yeah.
Of everything. Of, like, the Soviets, they wanted to have this to everyone on the outside, this look of strength.
But then they're falling apart on the inside.
Exactly. Yeah, Chernobyl's amazing. I saw recently John Wick 3, which is just amazing. One of the best action movies I've ever seen. Very brutal. I'll say that. Like, if you are you don't like a lot of violence, holy fuck. Like, even violence for an action movie. It was a pretty brutal thing to watch. It was basically like watching someone play a video game that always gets headshots all the time. And it's like, wow, dude. Like, I would love for someone, I'm sure someone will go through and just find the overall death count in John Wick 3 because it's something incredible. But they keep building this world, and that's the coolest part about John Wick is just the world that they're building, this society of, or this kind of group of assassins and all this stuff. Like, it's amazing, but the world building never fully gets in the way of the action. Like, that is what people want to see, and it has some of the best, like I said, some of the best action sequences I've ever seen. Like, it takes there's a moment in this, one of my favorite action sequences of a movie ever, and especially in recent note, has been the whole staircase fight in Atomic Blonde.
Yeah.
Remember that? Like, it was brutal. They cut all the sound out. It was amazing. There's something to me in this movie that takes that and blows out the fucking water. It is, like, that good. And Keanu Reeves is as good as he needs to be. John Wick is such a interesting character because he's very, very kind of two-dimensional, but they keep building his backstory and all this stuff. And you're like, okay, this is interesting. It's a little bit more than just a puppy that's getting murdered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's definitely the best John Wick. I love it. So.
Yeah, I saw Aladdin
Yeah.
yesterday, which is also funny because I was just me and Maggie were just like, oh, let's go to the movie. So I went and I saw Showtime and clicked it, and then went and then realized when we got to theater, 3D. Which is also which we were also curious. I'm like, is this gonna be a problem? Because Maggie wears glasses and she has to wear some glasses when she watches things. But it worked. We got it to work. But it's fine. It's probably literally the safest of all the Disney animated remakes that they've done. I think. I think mostly because like those I know a lot of people were probably, especially with the passing of Robin Williams, were very not sure about this movie is probably the nicest way I could put it. Maybe some people even angry that they were doing it, they would recast and do something. But Will Smith's great as the genie. I'm not going to compare him to Robin Williams because I think he did enough to kind of make it his own character. They did some nice quality of life things. It's a lot less cartoonish. There's a couple of things that when you watch the original Aladdin, how come Jasmine just doesn't immediately recognize him when he shows up as a prince? They try to address that a little bit in this one, or the fact that Jafar wears a mask that's supposed to be a realistic face. They just kind of get rid of that, and he's hey, just meet Jafar. I'm like, okay, cool. Or just little things like that, very minor changes for the most part throughout the whole thing. So yeah, it's fine. Like I said, Naomi Scott, she's actually a really good singer because they gave her a brand new song that they wrote for this movie. It's actually really good. I'm like, wow, all right. They do some interesting stuff with Will Smith as the genie. I'm like, all right, cool. But otherwise, yeah, it's a fine movie. It's maybe the most. It's really funny for different reasons. I would probably give it about the same score that, for reference, for you can watch a video. Probably it's coming out eventually. Probably give it the same score as I gave Godzilla.
Okay.
But for different reasons. It's the safest movie I've ever seen.
Gotcha.
Whereas that one, it's bad, but it's great. This one's a severe mediocre.
I mean, Aladdin, I've never seen the whole thing. I've seen pieces of it. Mm-hmm. But Aladdin's such a classic movie that I feel it would be very hard. I see where they're coming from if they don't want to change too much.
Yeah, I watched an interesting video from there's Lindsay Ellis is a YouTuber on here where she does a lot of film critiques. She does a lot of Disney film critiques, and she looked at specifically the Beauty and the Beast remake, which I didn't think of how they're just yeah, they do all these movies and they're just fixing all the criticisms that people have with these movies, how this one's sort of how Jasmine's sort of I don't know, not as much of a character as she could have been, and things like that, but how Beauty and the Beast literally goes out of its way to just throw lines at you that are correcting misconceptions from the animated classic, that it kind of bogs down the movie a little bit. That's sort of what they're doing. It's just well, look, here, we fixed it. Here's this thing, how did nobody again, like I said, how did nobody know he's Aladdin? No, it's magic. There you go. We fixed it. There you go. I'm just where it's but this is yeah, it's a safe movie. Though the opening 15 minutes of the movie, I was very worried. It looks so weird. They did that thing where I guess they filmed it extra slow and then sped it up with to play back to fit the music because it's a musical number, and I'm
yeah,
this looks. Yeah. But it like I said, I had fun. It was worth the money.
I'm wondering the big one though is The Lion King. Mm-hmm. I'm really wondering how much they'll change of that, if at all, if they've played Aladdin so safe.
I don't know. I think that's one you could maybe afford to, because maybe. I think that one's even. I feel Aladdin is it's one of the upper echelons of Disney classics, but I think with regards to also Robin Williams' death, I think that might have had a lot to play into the safeness of it. But also, Jon Favreau's got a lot of goodwill towards Disney. I mean, he did Iron Man and he did The Jungle Book, which is sort of the prerequisite to this movie. I mean, if he's going to change anything, I think they'll be down for it. And also, I think he's not going to necessarily. My first inclination is that he's not going to do something that's so outrageous that it's just going to ruin the movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. I got more so excited when I saw another trailer for it. Going to see Avengers for the second time, I'm like, okay, I get it. I get why people... Because the first time I saw that trailer, I'm like, Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
And then I watched it again in like a big theater like that. Even though I'd seen it in a big theater before that, like multiple times, but I was just like, all right, I get the hype now. I'm all about it.
Yeah. That movie's going to destroy.
It really is.
Box office.
It doesn't matter if it's good or not. Everybody's going to go see it.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Cool.
We also saw, like you said, Godzilla. There's going to be a review of that.
Yeah. We'll
So. Yeah. Let's talk about a few other things before we get into the predictions. One is, let's talk a little bit of Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
What?
What?
So, yeah.
Didn't that already happen?
It did. They're rebooting it.
Yeah. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Infinity Ward's turn this year. They're rebooting the Modern Warfare franchise. A soft reboot is what they call it. And it's out October 25th, I believe. Mm-hmm. Basically, not a whole lot out about it. I mean, there is a trailer that not a whole lot to it, but it's a pretty good trailer. Like Captain Price is in it again.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I mean, they're I don't think they're completely redoing the Modern Warfare storyline, but I think they're
ignoring it for the purposes of this
exactly.
game. Like, you're not going to see, like, you might see, like, there's not going to be, like, outward, like, oh yeah, remember when this happened? There might just be, like, a subtle reference here or there to what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, there's going to be some characters, but I think it is, for the most part, going to be a different story.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would say Modern Warfare is... It's so interesting what it's known for the most, because it changed so much about multiplayer in games, but then it also... that campaign was groundbreaking.
I mean, yeah,
there's nothing like it.
It was probably the first, like, maybe one of the, well, no, because I mean Halo was doing that too, but I mean, like, it's in terms of like almost these big action set piece things, like an action movie style thing. I mean, Halo was sort of doing that to some extent, but I think Call of Duty was the first one to kind of go all out with that, to make it like an action movie.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, I still love that campaign, just playing the remastered version of it. I mean, it's still great.
I need to finish that.
Hearing and seeing that they're rebooting Modern Warfare, which I still think those games are great, is kind of like, I don't know how I feel about it. But then I hear about this campaign in all the previews that I've read.
And how it's like supposed to upset you.
Yeah, this
dark.
campaign seems interesting.
Seems dark. At least that's the impression I'm getting, is that it's going to be dark.
This is the most interested I've been in a Call of Duty campaign in a long time.
Which is interesting to say because, well, I'll come back to this point in a bit, just because I mean I think it's an interesting point maybe to end this part of the conversation with.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it sounds like this game's definitely going some places that could make you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Now, my hope, I'll say this. I feel like Call of Duty has done this in the past where they've said this sort of thing. If we're trying to be gritty, real, all this stuff, and then you play it and it's a Call of Duty game. Like you're shooting dudes, it's fine, but you just don't feel as much as you might have, say, with Modern Warfare 1 and 2 when, these games were kind of at the forefront.
Yeah.
A little bit more than, say, I feel reactionary sometimes. I'm not saying it's bad. Their blackout mode's cool. All this stuff, like, they've done it well, but to me, they haven't been on the forefront as much as they used to be.
It's like...
pushing things forward.
They're a little bit more receptive to the thing, which I think Battlefield could learn from, where it's like they're making the games that they want to make, not shoehorning a thing in. Like, that's what I feel like with Black Ops 4. It's like, well, we don't really want to make a single player, and also single player isn't even though single players are cool, single player isn't really what sells games. Yeah. So let's just we'll go down on that, but
it was also.
I mean,
I don't know if they actually confirmed it or not, but it was basically reported on that there was a campaign for Black Ops 4, but it was not going well.
Oh, okay.
And they wouldn't have finished it in time, so they pivoted, did Battle Royale.
Okay. Which, yeah.
I mean, I'm interested in this game, at least from a campaign side, for sure.
Yeah, I
Infinity Ward
makes generally good campaigns.
Generally.
With the exception of one glaring
Ghost.
with Ghost.
Yeah, Ghost was bad, but like Infinite Warfare, the best part about that game was the campaign, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Call of Duty campaigns, and it sucks that game got just pandered or just slammed so hard. Yeah, I mean, the multiplayer wasn't the best. The zombies was cool, but that campaign was so good. And, obviously the Modern Warfare trilogy is fantastic. So, I'm looking forward to it because when it comes to campaigns, they know how to do something very cool.
Yeah,
and they have for a while outside of Ghost.
It's something that I'm kind of learning, but which maybe Black Ops 4 was the big one that I kind of learned this with. Is that Call of Duty doesn't really sell me on the multiplayer anymore. Like even no matter how cool it looks, it's not gonna be the game that I play. Probably the last time this happened was with Black Ops 2, which is where I was like, I'm playing Call of Duty like every day. I'm playing a lot of Call of Duty. It just hasn't happened since then. I just don't know if that interests me as much anymore. But speaking on the Black Ops 4 thing, this might be the good thing. I mean, there's the rumors of that next year is going to be
Black Ops 5.
Black Ops 5, which this happening, which maybe this has been planned for a while. Which there's been rumors of them redoing Call of Duty 4 for years now. I mean, we're doing another Modern Warfare game for years, probably ever since Ghost. I mean, not Ghost, ever since Infinite Warfare. I'm almost a little worried at this point then, because it's like they're going back to a 2-year, because apparently Sledgehammer and Raven can't get along to make a game, and I'm just like,
yeah, no, it makes it a little bit of, like I said, I'm interested in this campaign. It sounds very fascinating. And Modern Warfare, cool franchise. Probably my favorite of the Call of Duty franchises, potentially. But yeah, then going back to Black Ops 5, it's a little bit of...
So soon.
It's kind of stinks, because you want to see some newer stuff. That's why, like, I loved Infinite Warfare's campaign. I would have loved to see a sequel to that game.
It's also
probably not going to happen.
I really like World War... I even really like World War II.
Yeah,
that's
a
good one, but it's like...
Advanced
I think
cool
Sledgehammer might be, in some ways, the most exciting of the three, because it's like they don't have a franchise that they can fall back on. You know what I mean? They're like just doing whatever, and I'm like, I'm all about this.
I mean, I know Raven's a talented studio, and it's a shame that they have been folded into Call of Duty, but I'm a little surprised that Activision let those two co-run that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To me, I would have just been like, Sledgehammer's pulled off 2 great games.
Like no offense, let Raven just kind of
develop a piece of it, or
do what they've kind of been doing for a long time and play support to working on Call of Duty games. I mean,
or fuck it,
make a fourth one.
Yeah,
make a fourth.
Raven do their own thing.
Again, if you give your developers enough time, maybe these games will be back to the forefront again. Because that's sort of the thing. Like a lot of developers are sort of learning, with the exception of like sports games. Even Ubisoft, to an extent, is learning with Assassin's Creed that you can't just put out a game every year and have it be like necessarily good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So, like I said, I'm interested in Modern Warfare, this reboot, from a campaign side. So the multiplayer, they really got to sell me on. There is apparently a co-op mode. And they didn't say it was zombies. So if it's anything like Spec Ops,
or
those were fucking sweet.
Was it Strike something? What was it called? Strike?
I know it's
but like that was cool. I enjoyed that. I remember playing a lot of that.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm interested in that too. Overall, interested in this game. If I'm not sold on this co-op mode or the multiplayer, then I'm just gonna definitely pick this game up used and play the campaign.
Yeah. If they can't wow with that kind of stuff, but we'll see.
Because I definitely want to play the campaign, but
yeah,
we'll see. So yeah, that's coming out October 25th. Another game coming out, shockingly, in 2019 is Death Stranding.
Yeah, that's one I did not expect to hear have a this year release date.
No, I really thought out of the big 3 Sony first-party games that are left that we know of,
that was
on
the
PS4
farthest
at
one
least,
off. That's what I would have thought.
Yes, I would have thought this was like a PS5 launch game sort of thing. Still coming out on PS4, but in that kind of vicinity of the PS5 launching, which everyone thinks fall 2020. We could be wrong on that, because they said that PS4 for them as a primary revenue driver until 2022.
Huh.
Which, there's always that transition. We saw it with
this last generation.
One that
it was like
still came out for.
It was like 2 years before games stopped coming out for the PS3.
So that'll happen. But
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. But anyways, Death Stranding comes out November 8th. This year we got a nearly 9-minute trailer and showed off a lot of the game from a gameplay side.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I have a better sense of what this game is, what it's about. It sounds like it's about, a very broken America, which I thought was interesting.
Trying to bring the world back together and
there's
whatnot.
There's these, rebel group sort of thing. You have to go back in time. Or, you play some past, World War I sort of stuff. And you're kind of rebuilding that sort of thing. So, the story and characters and everything, I could be so down for this. This world looks so fucking fascinating. I am so in. Gameplay-wise, I'm still slightly confused. But they showed off a lot of things. I mean, they showed off some third-person shooting, some stealth, dropping this gigantic ladder down, walking up. So it seems like there's going to be a lot of exploration in the game. Mm-hmm. But they showed a lot of non-combat scenarios. Now, I wonder if there's going to be any survival elements to the game. There's still so many question marks on that side to me. And I think regardless, though, it's just weird to say, this game just looks so fascinating that, I'm in, sort of thing.
It's
whether it's good or not, we'll see.
I mean, it looks like the basic framework of the game is a game that I would like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, and all the fan theories are kind of going out there, what people think, the themes are, what's going to happen. And I'm like, man, just wait for the game to come out.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to be satisfied with what actually happens if you're thinking like that now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'd say I'm in. I'm interested. I mean, it's maybe outside of Borderlands and Gears, maybe one of the only games I'm actually super on for the rest of the year. I mean, Wolfenstein. I'm super on for Wolfenstein, but I guess Doom. But okay, fine. There's a lot of games I'm super on for.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This one definitely intrigues me. A lot.
Definitely, and I like I said, I did not expect this game this year. I think it definitely changes the dynamic of the year a little bit.
Yeah.
Where I thought it was going to be a little bit maybe later in the fall, but I don't know. The fall's shaping up to not really be as late as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm interested in Death Stranding. Also, one thing that's interesting about it is Sony has not felt the need to really launch any first-party titles in the fall.
Ever?
Yeah,
really?
in that October, November, December area. And it's kind of interesting for Death Stranding to launch then.
Maybe it's... I don't know if it's a Kojima thing, or if it's we don't have, anything else coming out around that time. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think, has there been any major PS2 exclusives this year? I don't think so.
PS4?
PS4 I meant. Yeah, I meant PS4. So, yeah, I mean...
Days Gone.
Right, Days Gone.
And Dreams.
Yeah, I feel like there's usually, okay, never mind. That does seem a little weird, because I was just saying maybe it's, this is one of our major ones, let's make sure it gets out during, a big time. Or maybe it's, again, understanding nobody knows what this game is. If we put it out during, a thing where people are just I want to buy some games, for again the holiday season, boom, it might sell a few more copies.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it could also just work down to just timing of some of these first party titles. It was rumored that The Last of Us Part 2 was supposed to be in the fall, but it's been bumped to first quarter of 2020.
Ooh, okay,
it's perfect for me.
All right,
I think I would rather play The Last of Us Part 2 not in the fall. When a lot of other things are
when all the things are out, yeah. I mean, it could mostly not because it would hurt The Last of Us. It would mostly because it would hurt everything else. Yeah. I was man, I'm not gonna have time to play everything else. I gotta play The Last of Us. Mm-hmm. Especially got one of them dank ass multiplayer modes again, like the last one did.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
highly underrated multiplayer, I'd say.
100%.
So yeah, looking forward to Death Stranding coming out this year. And then just last thing before we get into some predictions, there is a Pokemon Sword and Shield Direct happening on June 5th, which is this coming Wednesday. 15 minutes long, they said.
So, I mean, maybe... I don't even know what you'd show off in 15 minutes.
I
mean,
think
granted,
you show
I say that that's actually a lot of time for one game.
Yeah,
but
definitely. I mean, I think you show off...
Legendaries?
Yeah,
Like maybe whatever the flagship legendaries are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legendaries, release date, I think, for sure. You show off maybe some towns, any changes to the battle system.
What the gimmick is. These games usually seem to have a gimmick now.
Yeah.
With each generation, so maybe what the gimmick is. Maybe Sword and Shield is like you can like armor up your Pokemon somehow.
Maybe.
Who knows, yeah.
Who knows? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then on Thursday, June 6th, we're getting a Destiny 2 reveal.
For what the next thing for Destiny 2 is, which, I mean, at least because I started following, like, My Name is Bife and channels like that again. There's some cool stuff that's happening, like, in, like, the outer lore of the game that could be some cool direction for the game to go into. Like, some big stuff that, like, that Bungie's dropping that, like, are, like, if you follow any of the deeper lore at all, is, like, really cool stuff. So, I mean, with multiple different threads of where Destiny could go in the future. So I'm all about this.
Yeah. I wonder how, I would imagine it's an expansion to the game, a larger expansion. I wonder the size of it. Is it going to be a Rise of Iron, or is it going to be a Forsaken and Taken King?
That's a good question. I mean, I think if you... This would be how I would do it. If you do, like, $60 for this expansion and the annual pass, boom. I think that would be a fair price point. If there's going to be like another annual pass and they're doing that kind of thing, that would be probably a fair thing, especially if it's a smaller thing. But I just think that's just a good idea.
If you bundle the two together.
If you just automatically you bundle the two together,
yeah.
And then also boom, that way the expansions again, like more of a Rise of Iron size, boom, you at least have updated them, because I feel like they've been doing a much better job this year with the annual pass of just continue adding stuff,
right,
and keeping the game interesting. So,
yeah, I wonder if there will be any sort of twist to that as well. Like, is it even an expansion, or is it just we're doing another annual pass?
I mean, that could be it too, but maybe like a themed annual pass. Like, here's a bunch of expansions that kind of all tie into each other over a bunch of months. That could be cool.
Yeah, I mean, Bungie and Activision split earlier in the year, so I'm just curious. Is there any changes to that? Maybe this content was so far along that, it didn't really matter. Their split didn't affect it too much.
I could see that.
That could be the case as well. Yeah. I'm excited for more Destiny.
Yeah, I'm looking for an excuse to play more Destiny. Yeah. We can get that itch. Where I'm like, again, because I've been looking at some of the lore stuff, and I'm like, it's cool. I want to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do it by myself, which is the main issue.
Yeah. Bungie tweeted this out 10 minutes before the Call of Duty Modern Warfare reveal happened, which I thought was interesting.
That's great. I love that. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. I'm sure we'll talk about it at E3 when we go through all that stuff next weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's start getting into some of these conferences and just discussing some things. So let's talk about EA for a little bit. EA's not doing a traditional conference at all, but they did reveal their live stream schedule. Typical stuff on there. I think they're starting up with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay.
That's the one. That's the only one I really feel the need to tune into, because I'm very excited for that game. That game could be very cool.
It could be.
They are going to show off Apex Legends Season 2, which could be neat. Battlefield 5 is going to be there, which I find interesting. And then the typical FIFA, Madden.
Announce a new NHL? Drop the new NHL game.
No new NHL. So,
do they have any mystery slots that are like...
No.
Okay, so everything that they're already going to talk about is already announced.
And there's two interesting pieces of this. One, no really new games. EA has said, we have a new Need for Speed coming out this year. Okay, what are you going to talk about that at this point? I mean, Grant, It's probably not going to come out till the fall. They can show it off whenever, but I feel like E3 is a pretty good time to reveal something.
Yeah.
They also said Plants vs. Zombies is coming out. No new Plants vs. Zombies information. Just nothing really new. And I think it says a lot about where EA's at and why they're not doing a conference, because they don't have a ton to carry that conference.
And, I mean, there's not, like... I mean, are they doing anything for Anthem?
Well, that's what I was going to get to. Anthem's not even on the fucking schedule.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, no offense. Apparently, the player base has essentially died for that game.
Yeah. And now, BioWare did have a pretty big stream detailing their next major event and all this stuff, which could be cool for Anthem players, but I just... To me, that says a lot about where Anthem is and EA's belief in it.
Yeah, it's...
that they don't even want to put it in their schedule, like... I don't know.
Unless, like, it's, like, something that happens, like, later. Like, it's like,
Yes.
like if they still, like, man, this is the E3 thing, everybody kind of comes in, let's just talk about you later. Like, by itself, away from everything else. We don't want to tank everything else because, you know...
Yeah, maybe.
Of this, so... Is that Saturday still, or...?
Yeah,
okay.
Saturday. I forget when, so...
I have to check out the time then, so I can maybe watch at least the Jedi Fallen Order one.
Yeah, I think, if anything, I'll tune in for Jedi Fallen Order and Apex. That's about it. Because I'm genuinely curious on Apex stuff.
If they do, like, make, like, a new map or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, that's EA. Not exciting this year.
Nah. I mean, I would argue EA is never really all that exciting, but it's just... No. It's because, like, there's occasionally, like, one cool game that they talk about, and then the rest of it's, like...
Yeah. Yep. Let's talk about Microsoft.
Yeah.
This is the big one for E3
This one's gonna be a cool one.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the other conferences for sure, but this is the one that has the most hype behind it, for sure.
I mean, consoles maybe.
Maybe. I mean, yeah. Let's start with that. Like, I don't think that we get a name for their hardware. I don't think we see it, but I definitely think they talk about it.
Oh, they'll probably mention it at least a couple times. Like, you know, yeah, we here at Xbox are working hard on bringing the next generation of Xbox consoles. You know, and we can't wait to share more details at a future date.
Yeah. And
then applause happens, and Phil Spencer opens up a shirt, and it just says, like, Xbox Scarlet, or whatever the heck the code name for it is right now for the next ones.
But who knows? What if they pull something crazy, and it's like, we're going to launch in April.
Nuts.
like the
nuts.
Switch. You know, I highly doubt that, but that would be crazy. So yeah, I mean, I think we hear about it. We just don't really see it. I do think we might see maybe like tech demos, next generation titles. Microsoft said they have 14 first-party games show off. Now, some of them are Xbox One games, for sure, like Gears 5. But I do think that, you know, I mean, they have 14 first-party studios. Do all of them show off anything? I don't know about that.
I don't know if every single one shows off, but I mean, just think of like some of the games that are like a shoo-in that are going to be there. I mean, Gears is going to be there.
Yep.
Forza is going to be there.
Well,
is it though? Oh,
wait, I don't know. They're not doing Forza Motorsport 8 this year.
They're not?
No.
What are they doing this year? Or they just don't have anything planned this year?
I don't think there's a plan for a brand new Forza title this year.
Okay.
However, I think there is still the plan for a second big expansion to Forza Horizon 4, so maybe we do something.
Okay, that could be it. Or like maybe I feel like you kind of have to, because you can't just leave it. You can't pull like a Final Fantasy 7 or a Kingdom Hearts 3 and just not talk about it. I mean, Halo Infinite.
I said Halo Infinite's going to be there.
Awesome, cool. I want to find out what that game is, and I mean, maybe if the rumors are true, maybe Fable.
I think you announced that, yeah. Even if it is far away,
I think you dropped that. You dropped that line.
If you want to get people excited about what's next for Xbox and why they need to invest in a new console or maybe even a streaming service, I think, you know, dropping something like that is definitely important. I think Fable is something that's big enough that can happen.
Yeah.
There's also the rumor that we'll see something new from Ninja Theory.
Yeah, I could be about that. Yeah. I mean, imagine what they could do with like a big budget.
Oh yeah,
God,
absolutely.
man.
Hellblade was amazing.
It is. It might be my favorite game that I wish I played in 2017. Something that game came out.
Something like that. 2018. No, 2017.
2017 must have been. Yeah. But my favorite game that I didn't play in 2017. But also the two other things well, one thing is the rumor and one thing is that I hope. I mean, I would assume this is where unless they do it like next week during the week, if they would announce Borderlands 2 DLC, which is a rumor that there's going to be new Borderlands 2 DLC, that would be where it's happened at Microsoft. I mean, that would be the only place in here where it would make sense where that would happen, unless it's like they announce Borderlands 2 is coming to the Switch and they do it during Nintendo, which would be very funny. But the other thing is, at least it would make sense to me. You say, I mean, they announced that Halo Reach is coming to the Master Chief Collection. You just say, boom, it's coming out today, like next Sunday.
See that?
It's boom. It's available now right at the end of this conference, and I'm
Yeah,
downloading
I mean, the
that
Master
shit.
Chief Collection is also coming to PC.
That's what I mean. So it's like, and also
Could be
we
cool
we
little
know
thing.
that it's coming to both.
Yeah.
The bitches do that, but like, oh yeah, it's or at least for Xbox players, it's on now. You can play it on, which I'd be all about that.
Yeah, and I think for Xbox One stuff, I mean, I do think we'll see a lot of games that are going on Xbox One.
Oh yeah, or I think I think probably. Well, I see. Again, I don't know how far along some of the studios that they've gotten are into whatever they're working on next. So I don't even know.
I would imagine most studios are working on
something
next gen stuff, but obviously we'll see Gears 5. I think that'll be a big part of the conference.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited to see gameplay of that. I'm excited. That story has me very intrigued where it's going. Excited to see what's new with that, and I think we'll definitely get a date for that.
Oh, 100%.
That's supposed to be coming out this year. We'll definitely get a date for Ori and the Will of the Wisp.
Oh God, yeah, right.
Definitely get a date for that Cuphead DLC that's happening, I would imagine. Trying to think of other things yet, like maybe that second Forza DLC. Because I think I can see Gears 5 being the swan song of Xbox One.
Yeah.
In a way. Like, the Halo Infinite is supposed to be on Xbox One, but that's like, definitely a cross-gen title.
It kind of has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. But I can see Gears of War 5 being like, this is the last major thing that's just on the Xbox One. I mean, it's on PC too, but...
And I mean, I would assume the next Xbox is going to be backwards compatible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but it's like, boom, this is, I could see that being like the last thing. Maybe a couple other things they announced. I could see them like dropping a lot of like announcements.
Yeah.
Like I mean, because a lot of the studios that they bought up are like well respected. Like just dropping. This is what Obsidian's working on. Mm-hmm. Boom. Here's what Zombie Labs is working on. Boom. The next State of Decay or whatever the heck it might be. Here's what the people who make We Happy Few. I don't remember what the name of that studio is.
I think.
Compulsion. And also, here's our original studios. Boom. Like, I can see them just, like, name dropping. Like, here's some of the stuff what's happening.
Yeah, maybe.
Because, I mean, if they're supposed to have, like, a lot of first-party stuff, I mean, I assume a lot of it's got to be from, like, those studios, so.
I would hope so. I just think, above anything else, and I think there is excitement for what's next for Xbox because they've made so many consumer-friendly moves. They have a much stronger, stable first-party developers now. There is a lot of excitement there for them to compete much better next generation.
Oh, 100%.
Phil Spencer has steered the ship in a very exciting, interesting direction. I think they just got to keep that excitement going.
Yeah, it's got to keep it up.
Anything else.
He's my favorite.
Yeah.
He's
why should people Gears 5 might be a reason why late in this console's life cycle of why people might want to hop on an Xbox now. Mm-hmm. But
you gotta
I think
tell
the
people
most important thing is the future. I think when it comes to third party though, Sony not being there, that's a big thing.
That's a big thing.
So
like,
I think we'll see a lot of Japanese games potentially, which Microsoft's had more and more of in the show. I think the big third party we're going to see is absolutely Cyberpunk.
Oh, 100%.
Now,
I don't think it's coming out this year. I don't think it's not coming out this year. I'm sorry, Frank. I agree with you. It's not coming out this year.
He says it's coming out this year, and there's stuff like the Polish government gave them money and said it has to be out this year and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
I don't know about all that.
But like, if they have to eat fucking money, they're going to eat money because that game's going to sell an enormous amount. It doesn't fucking matter.
That's all the hype. It has all the hype.
But I can see them saying 2020.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
Even like spring 2020.
Yeah,
just drop it like
I don't know, but I think we'll see that. I wouldn't shock me to see like Borderlands 3.
Yeah,
like you said. Trying to think of other ones. Ubisoft. I can see some Ubisoft or EA titles, Star Wars maybe being there, because the one big one that with Sony not being there, I don't think they're going to be on Microsoft stages because of the deal they have with Call of Duty.
Yeah, I could see maybe Destiny if if they have like a trailer, they got like a trailer maybe, because I mean that was through Activision. They don't have to follow that Activision deal anymore.
Yeah,
I mean who knows?
Who knows how long that deal was signed for?
But was that a deal with Activision or was that a deal with? I mean that might it depends on in the fine print. If it's like a thing, if it's like, it might just be like, this is a deal that all Activision properties have, is a deal with Sony. And now it's like, Bungie's like, well, we're not with Activision anymore, so fuck them.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen, but I will say that I think it would be very cool to see Bungie on a Microsoft stage.
Would be very cool.
That. I'm very excited for Microsoft, man.
Yeah.
That's the one for E3. Cool. So let's move on to Bethesda, so Microsoft and Bethesda are happening on Sunday. Bethesda, I'm not fully sure what they're going to have. No Elder Scrolls, no Starfield. I mean, I think they'll have some for Wolfenstein. That game's
Fallout
coming
76? Out. Like a big expansion, like a We're Sorry expansion for Fallout 76.
Yeah.
They could call it that. My God, that'd be the greatest meta thing. The We're Sorry expansion to Fallout 76.
I mean, they announced a roadmap a while ago of stuff and content fixes, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, do they have a big expansion for it? I don't know.
Maybe.
Do they acknowledge it? Do they acknowledge that it's fucked up? I don't know.
I don't know, yeah.
I could see that going either way. I could see them honestly coming out and being very honest about everything, and I can see them completely shoving it under the rug.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I truly believe everything. Yeah, either way, that can happen. The big game's going to be Doom.
Doom, yeah.
And do we get a date? Is it this year? I think it's this year.
Do they... When did Dishonored come out, the last one? 2017?
2017.
Do you think they start talking about a new Dishonored at all?
So Dishonored had that Death of the Outsider
mm-hmm.
expansion in 2018, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the end for Dishonored, basically, for now. They've kind of put Dishonored on ice a little bit.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay,
But Arcane has actually been helping with Wolfenstein.
Okay.
It is co-developed in a weird way.
Wow.
Sort of. I mean, Machine Games is the lead, but Arcane's been helping them a lot. Which is why Wolfenstein Youngblood apparently has more Dishonored open-ended levels, which is very exciting.
Ooh, okay, I'm all about that.
I loved how Dishonored played, so...
I don't really know what else is there.
I don't know, man. I mean, Elder Scrolls Online?
Yeah, you talk about Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, they're dragons. There's dragons in Elder Scrolls Online now. They'll probably drop a trailer for that. Maybe Elder Scrolls Legends will be there, probably, because they'd like to talk about that one, too. I'm trying to think about, like, things that they talk about. Quake. They finally probably talk about more about Quake, because, I mean, they can't stop talking about that game.
Maybe.
Quake for console? Nah, that's not going to happen, but, I'm just going to throw that idea out there.
Who knows if there will be any sort of... Show any DLC for H2? I don't know. I think it's DLC enough to fill a fucking show.
I think it's going to be another short one, like 2017. I think it's going to be another, like... The fuck? We stayed up for this?
I mean...
Do you think... Well, here's the thing. Here's the other question. Even though they have Wolfenstein Youngblood, which definitely to me seems like we're holding you over, do they drop a bombshell and at least even just mention the third Wolfenstein game? Maybe. That could be their big stinger. That they're just like, here's Wolfenstein, the New Revolution. Whatever they're going to call it. That was the rumored title that I heard a while back. But, yeah, that's about all. That's literally it. Like surprises. Everything else is sort of like
maybe.
Do you think they do? No.
The Evil Within 3. I don't know.
I think it's too soon. I feel like it's a little too soon for another Evil Within. I ain't got nothing else really.
Yeah, Bethesda's kind of.
It's a weird place for them, man. Unless like they have some new thing coming out. I mean, they could also announce new things. That could also very much be. But
I'd love to see that.
But we can't we can't speculate on that.
Yeah, but Doom Eternal. Incredibly stoked for that. They have a gigantic fucking billboard that I saw pictures of in LA. I think that game's coming out this year, and
Oh, it's 100% coming out
I think
this year.
if that game is coming out this year,
think
it
it's
might
like
be my
September?
most anticipated game of the fall.
God, the first two was so good.
Oh God, it's amazing. It's amazing.
One of the best shooters ever. It's up there with
Yeah.
like the Wolfenstein, the new Colossus, which is
Yep.
the other one.
So yeah, Bethesda. We'll see.
Who knows?
Honestly, Ubisoft. Ubisoft always has an exciting show.
Yeah.
They said 2 games that have been in past E3s that won't be there are Skull and Bones, which got delayed outside of 2019, and actually completed outside of Ubisoft's fiscal year.
Because they're like, well, we need to focus more on just getting this game done.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, good.
Which is good. And then Beyond Good and Evil 2 will not be there.
Which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you show that game too much and it not actually come out, people are going to get tired of it.
Yeah. So I think the one big announcement that I think is obvious and will probably happen is Watch Dogs 3.
Watch Dogs 3 is probably
Makes a lot of
very
sense.
much of a given. I mean,
There's
they're going to talk about the new Ghost Recon.
Yeah. There's a lot of rumors for Watch Dogs 3 being set in London, too, so I'm excited. Watch Dogs 2, I think,
I gotta play that game.
is it's weird to say, that game is incredibly underrated. This generation. It is miles and miles and miles better than the first game and a very great open world game. And so I'm excited for Watch Dogs 3.
I gotta play 2. I never played 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ghost Recon, yeah. They'll definitely have that. The game could be cool. For sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be a Ghost Recon.
I'm still crossing my fingers. I'm crossing my fingers for fucking Splinter Cell. I don't think it's gonna happen, but
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there was that one rumor
This is a
where the
joke.
guy was like, I'm working on Splinter Cell, and then it was like, nah, we're not doing it.
You could just tell me, like, hey, shut up. We're gonna drop that just kind of randomly.
Yeah. Splinter Cell would be rad, though.
Trying to think of other Ubisoft titles that they can
Um,
drop. I mean, besides the dumb ones that they talk about every year, like Just Dance or whatever.
Mhm.
Did the new Trials game come out yet or no?
Yes. it did.
I need to play that. I need to get that because it looks fun.
Yeah. And Ubisoft, they typically have maybe some smaller titles there, smaller, like, VR titles, which are pretty neat to see. Another game that there's 2 games that I'm hoping for, but I don't know if they will happen. One is a new Rayman game.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since Rayman Legends. I think 2013.
It was
is when that game
2013,
came
yeah.
out.
2012 or 2013.
That's one of my favorite platformers ever. And so a new Rayman game would be fucking awesome. And then the second is a sequel to Mario and Rabbids.
I was thinking that too. Another Mario and Rabbids game, or maybe go with a different Nintendo property to kind of hook people. Fucking Zelda and Rabbids. Why not? Or I don't know what the other big one is. Really, really tease people since later Nintendo Metroid Prime 4 is not going to be there at all.
Mhm.
Metroid and Rabbids. She's already got the arm. She's already got the arm cannon.
Who knows?
Hey.
Yeah, but I mean those 2 would be awesome. I think. I mean, I could see them talking about the Division 2.
Like whatever the next big expansion would be, probably. Yeah.
I could see that. No new Assassin's Creed this year, so that definitely won't be there. And they typically don't announce them too early.
Too early. It's usually like the maybe by like May.
Yeah. Or it leaks.
Or well, that's when that's what I mean. It leaks in
Yeah.
like April or May, and that's what happens. Far Cry. I mean, would it be very funny if they
It would
announced a
be
new Far Cry?
hilarious, but I don't think it's going to happen with New Dawn just launching.
Be hilarious.
It would. It would. Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft also said that they have 4 AAA titles launching this fiscal year, so before end of March 2020. One of them's Ghost Recon. I mean, what are the other ones? I mean, like Watch Dogs 3.
Watch Dogs 3 would be a good one.
And then the other ones, I don't know.
Well, no, they did just put out an expansion for it, so I don't know if that game's dead yet. Another For Honor? Yeah, I don't know if I don't know what you do with that. I don't know what you do with that.
I don't know if you do.
I don't know if you do another game.
I can see Ubisoft doing a sequel because they're good at sticking with games, but yeah, they did just drop that DLC, which I don't even know how much of a boost that game got with that.
Yeah.
I could see them also talking about Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
That game's such a popular title for them.
Still, yeah. I mean, I mean, I would love for it if it was again a Splinter Cell game, but I really don't know.
Yeah, I can see them announcing Splinter Cell. It definitely isn't out this year, but
Yeah, it's not out this year.
They gotta know that people really want that.
It's like it's just people are just asking for that a bunch. So
Yeah. So yeah, that's Ubisoft going on Monday. Looking forward to that. Let's get to Square Enix. I think Square Enix has the potential to have one of the most exciting shows.
because like there's two games that are almost one game that is definitely there because they announced it. Another game that is also probably most definitely going to be there, and that's Final Fantasy VII and the Avengers game.
Yeah, they did say Final Fantasy was going to be
Oh, it's going to be there? Awesome. Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, right there. Mm-hmm. Boom. And I mean, also they kind of have to be big. I mean, they're taking over fucking Sony's time slot.
Yep.
Like, so I was trying to think of what else is going to be there. I mean, Final Fantasy VII, here's the thing. Here's my question for you. Because, again, they've reconfirmed that it's episodic. Do they even drop a date for the first episode?
Ooh.
Like, I mean, depending on how you frame it, could they drop a date for the first episode? Conceivably.
I'm going to say no, only because of...
Or, not a date, a window. Like,
yeah,
2020.
I'm still going to say
like
no.
Fall 2020.
Because of two things. One, they kind of had to restart development not too long ago.
Okay, fair enough.
And then two, just look what they did with Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, they really kept that game. They kept showing it, but it was like in development. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
until they felt confident that they have a date.
But I feel like that might be one of the things that they're doing with this one. Like, the whole game's not going to be done. Like, I mean, it could you could maybe get like a 15 to 20 hour thing.
Yeah.
And put it out. I don't know. I feel like they might at least give like a hopeful year of saying like
maybe
2020. That sometime in 2020 it'll come out. But then it won't because it's a Square Enix game and they all get delayed.
But knowing that like Nomura was still doing Kingdom Hearts 3 and wrapping that up, like how much of his time has he been able to put onto this game? I don't know. And apparently the stuff in that trailer they dropped at the State of Play was still like in the early hours of the game. So
yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what I would assume that maybe at most the first episode would be what would essentially equate to the first third of that game. You're still in the city of like Midgard.
Yeah, who knows? I mean that's a big title to have, and then Avengers.
Which there's going to be some Avengers stuff. Apparently, continuous single player. So is that
co-op?
Like, and co-op? So is that
live service?
Am I hearing Destiny, but with superheroes? I mean, so Destiny.
Maybe. I mean, cooperative play just makes total sense.
I hope it's based off I don't know. I almost sort of hope they very much base it off of like. In some ways, the movies. In some ways, I don't know. Just seems like maybe something they do.
Maybe.
Just set it apart from like Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Marvel vs. Capcom in those games because that's just to put a hard line between boom, that's comics. Boom, we're doing the movies.
Yeah. I'm incredibly excited to see this.
Oh,
game.
100%.
I mean, there's also apparently a lot of customization to the game.
Yeah.
And, I just want to know what it plays like. In what characters can you play? I imagine you could play more than one.
Yeah.
It'd be dumb if you couldn't.
I mean, if there's co-op, yeah. Like if there's like a
what
handful.
are those live service elements? Is this an open world game? What are the missions you're doing? What's the story? Like, there's so many things that I'm just.
I could very easily see it. Like there's like an open world aspect, but I could very easily see it almost again just because now that I'm thinking about it, I just had this idea now, like a very Destiny thing. Like you're at the Avengers Tower, and then you can pick like missions to go on, or just go out into New York, or go to various areas and just beat people up. But then you can do missions where you're fighting like Doctor Doom, or probably not Doctor Doom, but like I don't know, you have to go fight Thanos. That's probably the main villain or something. I don't know, but
yeah,
be a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, and just Crystal Dynamics is a pretty great developer, so I think they can probably do some pretty cool stuff with this one.
Yeah,
those two games though are huge.
I mean, you could almost
really
just coast on those, but I feel like again, if you're taking Sony's slot, you have to have a
So one other game that I didn't know would be there until it got announced was they're actually going to have Dying Light 2 on their stage.
Okay.
Which
right,
so
they do.
I don't know if they're publishing it but I know that Techland, who's developing Dying Light 2, has hooked up with Square Enix for marketing.
Okay.
So, therefore, that's going to be there. When
Sure,
they showed
yeah.
Dying Light 2 off at Microsoft show last year, that game looked very cool. So
Yeah.
that's another pretty big title. Trying to think of what else. There was a game called like Babylon, I think.
Yeah, okay, I remember
from last year. That's a why am I blanking? Platinum game that we got a trailer. Have literally seen nothing from. I could see that them showing that off.
Again, maybe me being ever so slightly hopeful, as I always am, because it's another chance for this to show up at E3. Announce Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC. There is some planned story DLC at some point. Just at least announce what they're going to do for it.
Yeah, I can see that. And then, I can see them showing off some of their smaller stuff, some of the Tokyo RPG Factory stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe
new Dragon Quest, because they're like putting out a new Dragon Quest every year.
Yeah.
Why not? Dragon Quest.
I don't know. With they just dropped Dragon Quest 11 last year, but
or maybe like a side game.
But a side game I can see.
Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Yeah, maybe Octopath. Yeah, that game came out last year, but they did say they're working on a sequel for that one.
Maybe. Do you think when did? Maybe another Bravely game.
Yeah, well, the Bravely team is the Octopath team.
Okay, or just as an option, or just a thing. Maybe you can make me consider getting that game. But I know that the first game was on 3DS. Is the second game on Switch, or is it on 3DS as well? Bravely Second. Is that a 3DS game?
Yeah.
Or is Switch.
Yeah,
Switch port.
Sure.
Do it. Also, yeah, just do that.
I can see that. I'm trying to think about the Western side. Like, Eidos Montreal just launched Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and then they're also helping with Avengers, so they won't really have anything. They've also made the Deus Ex game, so that's not going to happen. Avalanche launched Just Cause 4, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, also, the most recent Deus Ex game was a mess.
It just didn't sell well.
It was a mess. Well, they had this dumb release thing that was super convoluted.
Then obviously they don't have Hitman anymore.
Yeah.
So on the Western side,
I'm
not fully sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I could maybe see Platinum stepping up a little bit. Like, it'd be cool if they announce. It'd be cool if, like, again, you could always just see like announcements that are far off. Like, what if they announce like the next near game?
Wouldn't be very near.
No, it wouldn't. God.
Had to make it.
That was a great joke, though. I love that.
I'm glad you appreciate that.
I do. I appreciate that a lot.
I'm excited for Square Enix, though. Yeah, they're taking Sony's old time slot on Monday.
Yeah, so that's still cool.
Yeah. So then let's wrap this up and talk about Nintendo. Nintendo's going to have a direct. They didn't say how long it would be or anything like that. Nintendo is having a very interesting year, and they have a very strong lineup for
the rest
Switch.
Of the year. Yeah,
it wouldn't shock me to see Mario Maker 2 launches not long after, so I can see a little thing on that, even though they did have that big direct. Fire Emblem launches in July. I can see that. And then there's 3 big games that I think need dates. Luigi's Mansion 3, Animal Crossing Reveal, I think that'll be the big part of their show, and then Link's Awakening.
The remake, yep. Also, you gotta next character of Smash.
Yes,
100%.
Absolutely.
Like, that's got to be at least a part of it, in which it's going to be, unless some of the random rumors are true, and fucking, that's at Bethesda's conference, and because it's fucking Doom guy.
Oh, God. I would love that. I seriously would love that, but I don't know.
I don't know if that would work.
I think the one, and it just makes sense, is the main guy from Dragon Quest.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's such a Nintendo thing, so.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah.
I think a big third-party announcement, which I don't know if it's going to happen, but would at least get more hardcore RPG players very excited, is Persona 5 on the Switch. People want that so fucking bad.
Yeah, I mean, they announced a side
really
game.
Thought it
they
was
announced Persona 5R, which is like a Dynasty Warrior style game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw a rumor, which would be cool, that Witcher 3 for the Switch. That was a rumor that I saw.
That would be awesome, but I really don't.
I don't. No offense to this. I mean, the Switch is surprisingly powerful. I don't know if the Switch could do it.
And it would be such a shit version. I mean, that game took a while for them to get it to run smooth on PS4.
Yeah.
You know, it's no fucking way that's going to run a Switch.
I thought that was one of the rumors that I saw. I'm like, man, that'd be... Or, fuck it, one of the older Witcher games. But Witcher 2 remastered. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Or, also, here's the thing. There's been a lot of rumors for forever about... Oh, didn't they announce... they did announce new Switches. Right, they did. Sorry, I'm dumb. They did announce the new... Didn't they announce different Switches? Like a Switch Mini and a...
No.
Oh, well...
They haven't fully announced it. They also said no hardware announcements at E3.
Why you?
But it's heavily rumored. I can see that happening before the fall.
Yeah, so that they announced it. So, I mean... I'm trying to think of other things.
I'm just going to say, because I feel like I say it every year, I fucking want it, and everybody else wants it too. They delayed Metroid Prime 4 to basically restart it. Please put the trilogy out on Switch. It's got to be ready. It's got to just be done and ready. I don't know. Yeah. Also, we have not seen anything from Retro at all since they launched Tropical Freeze. Do we see that Star Fox racing game?
I want that so
That's
bad.
That's rumored. I mean, I can see that. That'd be cool.
I don't really know. I mean, I could see... Well, I don't know. I could see this being... that's a very Sony thing. I could see this being where, if Sony's not there, this is where they talk about CTR. Is CTR coming to everything else, or just coming to Switch first? Maybe this could be the place where they talk about CTR. Maybe. Yeah. I feel like it would have a little bit more room to breathe on here than at Microsoft. If Microsoft's plainly got big things planned, so.
Yeah. I know last year they announced they put a spotlight on a few indie games, not in a just sizzle reel sort of thing. You know, indie games are such a strong focus for Nintendo, such a strong part of the Switch. Yeah. I could see them announcing a few cool indie titles. I mean, there's that whole Cadence of Hyrule game. Right. That apparently got a date, I think, in June. I don't know. But I could see them, giving a boost to that game in terms of interest.
Last minute boost, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Nintendo just because of that lineup. I mean, their lineup this year's fucking awesome. Yeah. From Mario Maker all the way to the end, which is I think is probably the Link's Awakening. Yeah. I mean, you throw Pokemon in there too. It's like, what are you gonna have for 2020 then, damn? Like, holy shit.
I mean, you'll get the third and fourth Pokemon games in 2020.
I don't know. Maybe
you'll get. I mean, that's when hopefully Metroid. Well, I mean, how long ago was it that they just said they scrapped the whole thing? Well, they still talk about it next year. They'll at least talk about it next year. I could see maybe, I don't know, next Donkey Kong game? Maybe. Like a new, full-on, balls-out Donkey Kong game.
Yeah, I could see that, or what I would, a dream of mine for a 2020 Switch release is for Nintendo to pull a Super Mario Galaxy into a Super Mario Odyssey 2. Yeah. And it's kind of a quicker turnaround, just like, here's a fucking ton more levels. I'm like, please.
What if they do that this year?
Amazing.
What if that's like what if that's like their stinger? Like, I know we think we've seen a lot, and then it's another Mario Odyssey game. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I would love that so much too. Yeah. Maggie's playing through that right now.
Odyssey?
Yeah.
She like it?
Yeah, she's stuck at the same part I am right now. Fighting the Brutals on the moon.
I got you.
Yeah,
it's awful. Yeah.
But
that's a hell of a game.
It is. It was my favorite game from 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, fucking love that game.
Yeah. That's E3.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all it's going to be announced.
Hopefully. Who knows?
We know it all.
I mean, we know a lot of what's happening at E3, but
I'm hoping to be surprised. But we're also just in this weird time period where there's like new consoles coming out, but probably not till next year. So no one wants to blow their load announcing that stuff, and maybe they even can't. Yeah, that could be. Who knows? But then they also are kind of winding down on launching maybe major stuff on these consoles. I don't know. I mean, it's that weird time period of like, it reminds me of E3 2012. Where it's like everyone thought there would be hardware there, but it wasn't until 2013. But then no one really had a ton of new stuff to announce. Mm-hmm. And like Microsoft's ending their conference with Black Ops 2, and it's like, all right.
Sure. Yeah, the thing is, I know the state of the industry is making E3 a weird thing that happens anymore. I even though I know like a lot of people don't get excited and Sony ducking out's like a big thing. I hope E3, at least in some way, shape, or form, does sort of continue, but it's sort of just like a not like an official thing. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be like a conference, but it's like here's like a date where it's almost like Black Friday. Black Friday is not really like anything official, which is that all the stores just decide, hey, we're going to do sales on Black Friday. You know, just everybody's like, let's just announce a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. Everybody else, you know, as long because even though it doesn't feel, it kind of snuck up on me. It doesn't always feel special this year. I mean, it's still E3. It's still my favorite day of the year. One of my favorite days of the year. My favorite weekend.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I hope this week at work goes very quickly. I just want the weekend, man. It's gonna be a great weekend. Let us know what you think might happen at E3. Thanks for watching or listening. See ya.